Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're doing something a little different. We're mapping out a truly remarkable engineering career. And what's fascinating is how perfectly it mirrors the technological evolution of the global energy sector itself. We're looking at the professional journey of Venkateswaran Narayanaswamy. Rather than just, reading a resume dry, we're going to visually unpack how one engineer's path tracks directly alongside the industry's massive shift, from traditional offshore extraction all the way to modern, sustainable green energy. 33. Just let that number sink in for a second. That single number represents over 3 decades of hands-on technical and high-level strategic experience. Since graduating with a degree in instrumentation and control from the Delhi Institute of Technology back in 1993, Venkateswaran has been completely immersed in the oil and gas field. Think about where the world's energy landscape was in 1993 compared to today. Surviving and thriving through that requires some serious continuous adaptation. And his impact is really defined by sheer geographic diversity. We're talking a massive global footprint right out of the gate. He hasn't just been working in one region or one specific type of environment. From his early days in India to the offshore platforms of Qatar and Azerbaijan, the mega projects of the UAE, complex infrastructure in Iraq, and coordination through Singapore, it's just wild. This is a career built on international standards, cross-cultural teamwork, and adapting to completely different operational and geopolitical climates. So to make sense of such a massive timeline, we've organized this dense 33-year career into 4 logical eras, so you can clearly see the evolution. We're going to start with his early technical foundations, then move into mastering global offshore projects, pivot into pipeline integrity and construction, and finally look at his current focus, which is driving city gas distribution. All right, let's jump right into Section 1, Early Technical Foundations, Building the Base, from 1993 to 2002. The absolute bedrock of his technical vocabulary really relies on 2 crucial acronyms we all know, DCS and SCADA. During his time at companies like Grasim Industries, SVC Superchem, and Engineers India Limited, he was heavily involved in building these complex architectures. Think of these systems as the digital brains of refineries. They manage the industrial automation that keeps energy flowing safely. Getting a handle on these early on gave him a deeply rooted understanding of process control. But he wasn't just managing things from a desk. His early roles required highly tactile, boots-on-the-ground engineering. He was out there doing routine maintenance on Mod 30 controllers and modifying PID loops. But actually, scratch that. Perhaps the most surprising foundation was his specialized training at the Baba Atomic Research Center. Yeah, he actually took on the role of radiological safety officer, making sure radioactive isotopes were handled safely for industrial measurements. That is a seriously high level of technical accountability right from the jump. Okay, let's move into Section 2, Mastering Global Offshore Projects, Scaling Up from 2003 to 2016. So after mastering the groundwork, his career takes this massive operational leap during his decade-plus rise at McDermott. Starting in 2003 with field installations on the Azeri project in Baku, dealing with topsides and living quarters, he rapidly scaled up. By 2006, he relocated to Dubai, taking on the role of lead E&I production engineer for major clients like Saudi Aramco. Over 13 years, he evolved from individual instrument engineering to leading entire teams on multi-million-dollar offshore fabrications. 25. That's the number of people on the hookup team he led for the Saudi Aramco campaign. But here's the crucial detail. He acted as the overall in charge of the ship. When you're offshore, literally in the middle of the ocean, being in charge of the ship means you carry the ultimate weight. You're responsible for the execution, the safety of the crew, and the timely completion of highly complex mechanical integrations. No pressure, right? What we're tracking here is a complete professional evolution. You can see him transition from the tactile, hands-on calibration of the 1990s to orchestrating high-level strategic operations in the 2010s. By the time he wrapped up at McDermott, his day-to-day involved strategic man-hour planning, monitoring progress through project integrated management systems, and directly handling client audits. He literally went from the technician turning the wrench to the leader orchestrating the entire shipyard. Which perfectly sets up Section 3, Pipeline Integrity and Construction, Ensuring Safety from 2016 to 2020. Having built massive structures, he then shifted his focus to ensuring their long-term viability as a project manager at Linscan. His methodology perfectly linked operational execution with commercial realities. First, you have the complex mobilization of heavy equipment to sites across the UAE. Next, strict execution under incredibly stringent safety protocols like H2S gas detection. And finally, applying commercial acumen to ensure timely invoicing and accurate cash flow. It's a true 360-degree approach to management. And that brings us to a massively impactful project. As an instrument construction superintendent for Wood Group, he was assigned to the Basra Gas Company in Iraq. Historically, much of the gas produced alongside oil in this region was just wasted, literally flared off into the atmosphere. His role involved constructing the infrastructure to capture that flared gas instead. And get this, that captured gas is now used to create electricity for more than 11 million homes. It's a textbook example of engineering directly solving large-scale environmental and humanitarian challenges. Let's move to our final era, Section 4, Driving City Gas Distribution, the Green Fuel Pivot, from 2017 to the present. Returning to India to spearhead the modern transition to city gas distribution, his role dramatically expanded. As a deputy general manager and now assistant general manager at Torrent Gas Pune Limited, he isn't just an engineer anymore, he's a commercial leader. His mandate covers 3 massive areas: handling marketing for domestic and industrial segments, overseeing the shift to smart meters, and holding ultimate responsibility for the operations of 73 separate CNG stations. A huge chunk of this new mandate required a massive digital transformation of physical utilities. By replacing outdated mechanical systems with smart meters and electronic volumetric converters, he directly modernized the billing, the efficiency, and the data collection infrastructure for the entire commercial gas network. He basically grabbed an analog grid and dragged it into the smart age. To put this into perspective, the sheer scale of his current mandate is immense. Torrent Gas is managing complex green fuel infrastructure across a vast expanse of India, spanning 16 geographical areas, 32 districts, and covering 7 states and 1 union territory. Managing steel pipeline laying in integrated systems at this kind of scale requires a leader who has spent 3 decades learning exactly how to scale up complex operations. The ultimate mission now is meeting a critical modern need: green fuel. And it shows exactly why someone with Venkateswaran's background is perfectly suited for this moment. He has evolved right alongside the industry itself, moving from the heavy, traditional offshore extraction of the past to the agile, sustainable, and tech-driven fuel distribution of the present. So here's what I want you to take away from this. As global industries push aggressively for sustainability, it's really easy to obsess only over shiny new technologies. But true infrastructure requires way more than just innovation. It requires the deep, battle-tested experience of leaders who actually know how to build the platforms, lay the pipelines, and manage the safety protocols at scale. As we look to the future, we have to ask ourselves, can we truly achieve a seamless green transition without the veteran engineers who built the foundation? Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and I'll catch you next time.